Today we're going to talk about a very simple concept that's going to go relatively quickly, but I want you to just lean back, relax, grab a cup of coffee. We're going to talk about how you up your game when it comes to interviewing in a major way. Let's go. Many people think of interviewing as the process where you're trying to espouse your virtues to an organization so they're going to hire you. I hold that view is wrong. I think organizations, teams, they look for people because they're trying to solve a problem. So what they're looking for isn't the best engineer, the best person. They're looking for getting their problem solved. And so really what that means for you as a job seeker, what that means for you as a candidate, is the way that you up your game in the interview process is by figuring out what the problem is that they're attempting to solve and then making sure that you are the perfect solution to that problem. Let me walk through an example of how to think about this. Say that you're interviewing for a management role for a team that does, let's say, mobile development for a consumer product in the fintech sector. Through the interview process, you learn that one of the big issues that they have on this team is that they're struggling because they've scaled the amount of mobile developers they have. There used to be like 4 of them and now they're 10, and they're having constant continuous integration issues. Master is read all the time. When they ship to the App Store, they're shipping with a lot of bugs. It's really hard to get the product out, get it out consistently, and get it out in a qualitative way. So what do you do with this information in the interview process? As you're ferreting this out, what are you going to do that helps articulate to them while you're the perfect solution to this specific problem that they're having? Well, the obvious first thing is that you need to make sure that you actually have a solution to the problem and that you're knowledgeable about the space that they're having issues in. Like, obviously you don't want to come in and having sold yourself as the best thing since sliced bread for this specific scenario, you then show that you have no idea what you're talking about. So there's some amount in any of this that is going to be based on your readiness and your ability to answer up to what the organization that you're interviewing for needs. But I'm assuming if you're coming in on sites or you're at the space in the interview loop where you're starting to hear insights about what the problem this team is actually trying to solve, then you probably have relevant experience, and it's more about how you package that to up-level the game when it comes to how you're going to interview. The way you do it is you take yourself, as paradoxically as this sounds, out of the mental loop that you're making, and instead you think about the situation from the perspective of the hiring manager and of the company that you're interviewing for, and you say, what is the problem that they're trying to solve, and what is the solution to that problem, and how do I express the solution to that problem in a good way? And then you can say, am I actually the person to be solving this problem for them? So you might say, hey, in this specific instance, what I've learned is that you need to dedicate a couple of engineers to keeping master green and for helping building tools with that. You need to integrate some of the cloud build solution and test solutions out there so that you can scale the build time. You need to invest in making sure that the local build environment is fast enough that developers can quickly compile, test, iterate on their local machines. That the merge process is efficient, that you have release management, that you have a release train, and somebody that's accountable for that release train going out every week, that there's proper testing, all of the things that you do when you scale a mobile thing. But you package that up into a couple of different points and you say, what I've heard is you have this problem around scaling mobile development. I think the shape of that problem is in the dimensions of individual engineering productivity, in the dimension of CI/CD speed, it's in the dimension of release train, and here's solutions for all of these areas. And now let me tell you about the experience that I have that maps to this thing. I often interview people who spend the entire interview just talking about themselves. Obviously, you're asking them questions, and so they're going to try to answer that. They want to be accommodating to that. But some people, you see, they're actually trying to understand as part of the interview loop what it is that you're looking for. And if you're really good, you can then start tailoring your answers as to hit on that problem. Think of it as when you're buying a product. You're not buying a product generally because you're excited about the product. You're excited about what the product will do for you. You're excited about what problem it solves for you in your day-to-day. And so obviously brands know about this, so they message to you in a way that explains to you why their product solves that problem. The easiest way to understand this is to just go into any enterprise software vendor's webpage and just look at the solution section, where they look at all of the industry verticals and they say, hey, if you're in healthcare, this is how we solve your problems. Hey, if you're in this vertical, this is how we solve your problems. So it's pretty common in how brands market their products to their end users, but it's not super common in interviewing to have people say, hey, this is the problem that you have, and this is how I'm a good solution to that problem. And I would encourage you, when you're interviewing, to take this stance. As a bonus, I would encourage you to think in a structured way about it, and to think about, is there a message that you can extract from the information that you have, and that you can then come back and hit on many, many different times in the different interviews that you have. So say that you learn in the first 1, 2, 3 interviews with a company that they have this specific problem. See if you can test and validate that assumption, and then see if you can consistently hit on the messaging that you've developed around, hey, here's what I think your problem is, here's what I think some of the solutions to that problem might be, and here's, if you were to choose me or whomever, here's what I would be looking for in the ideal candidate for that, and then try to hit on that. So say that you have this narrative, make sure to bring it up as an answer to questions you're getting, make sure to send an email to the recruiter after you've met. Just make sure that folks understand that for the problem they have, you're the ideal solution. So that was the simple, really lean back thing that I wanted to share with you today, which is how can you up your interviewing game by treating it not so much as interviewing, but as sales, and thinking less about what do you bring to the table and more about what is the problem that this company is trying to solve. That's everything for me. Thank you.